Well, thank you all so much for both participating this weekend and then also to everyone that came out to watch the demos here tonight. Welcome to SPC. If this is your first time here, South Park Commons is a community of people who are exploring what's next. We come together to build, tinker, explore in a really talent-dense and curious environment. This weekend was our first hackathon with Anthropic. So I want to give a shout out to the Anthropic team, including Alex and everyone else who helped support it. And then on SPC side, I don't know where she is, but I want to give a big shout out to Lydia, who really helped organize all of this. There she is. For tonight, hopefully over the last hour and a half, you've had a chance to walk around the space, see a bunch of the demos. A lot of them are interactive. It was a lot of fun. Really appreciate everyone spending so much time this weekend building some really incredible projects. There were a couple of all-nighters, I think at least one double all-nighter. So people went hard for it, and there's a lot of awesome stuff to show. Of all the submissions over the last hour and a half, while everyone was giving live demos, the judges were hard at work picking our top 10 finalists, who over the next hour are going to give live demonstrations, be grilled by the judges, and we're going to decide the winners from that. So without further ado, our top 10, please take note of this if you're in the top 10, who comes after you and before you, so that we have the order. The top 10 are going first, Hackababies over here. Up second will be Bongo Browser. Third will be Claude Code Go. Fourth will be Team Kanto. I've lost track. Sixth, I think, will be Team Fifth will be Team Paid, Product AI Design Agent. After them will be Team Nardwuar. After them will be Team Yellow Pages. Following them will be Team A0. Followed by Pitchcraft. And closing us off for the last demo tonight will be New Generation. So for all of those that were selected to give a demo, here's what you need to know. If you're on deck, and I will remind people who's on deck, please grab a computer from someone in your group and start lining up over here. We'll have a dongle to plug in your computer when you get up on stage that will project up here, and then remember to speak into the microphone. So let's get started. Up first, we have Team Hackababies.
Yeah. Are you recording the presentation? Okay, cool.
Yes, we'll get one more mic. This is Emily, Kai, Zach, and Crystal.
Hi, I'm Emily. If you haven't yet had your own tiki drink, we welcome you to try out the bar at the back. But we are Team Hackababies. Between the four of us, we've had 2 babies in the last 7 weeks, and we thought, what better than to do a hackathon? And so what we have built is an actual tiki bar. Most of it was constructed yesterday. And if you imagine yourself on a deserted island, you might not have access to the world's best bartender, but good thing Claude is available, because what we've done is train Claude to have a great conversation with you about your preferences, your mood, your allergies even, and have an iterative experience with you in a chat. And based on that conversation, it will design a cocktail drink for you, taking into account the ingredients that we have access to. And we've built a tool so that the LLM can actually interact with the Arduino board in the back and actually dispense this drink in the correct proportions. So Crystal here is having a conversation with our AI bartender.
Greetings, Professor Mix here. Share your mood and I'll create the perfect cocktail. Not sure what's on your feeling right now? No worries, I've helped many travelers discover what's in their hearts. Would you like me to ask you a few questions to help find the perfect drink for you?
So you can have a guided experience, or what Crystal's actually doing here is just having a free flow conversation.
It's seems like you were about to tell me your mood but didn't finish. I'd love to know how you're feeling so I can recommend the perfect cocktail for you. Are you feeling happy, relaxed, adventurous, or perhaps something else? Once I know your mood, I can suggest a drink that matches it perfectly. The Sleepless Parents Special. How about a midnight reviver, a tropical pick-me-up with light rum, falanum, and pineapple juice? The sweet tropical notes will remind you of vacations past while giving you a gentle lift. Would you like me to make this for you? If so, please place your cup under the dispenser and let me know when you're ready. I'll create a gentle reviver with minimal alcohol and
So here we're using the 11
to
Labs
refresh your
API
tired parents'
for the
soul.
speech.
Would you like me to make this lighter version for you now? If so, please place your cup under the dispenser and let me know when you're ready. Perfect. I'm dispensing your gentle reviver now, a soothing blend with just a touch of rum to help you unwind while keeping you alert for those middle-of-the-night wake-ups.
And that's it. So if you haven't tried it out, I invite you to go back and give it a shot. It makes non-alcoholic drinks as well.
Any questions from the judges?
Cheers.
So how is it, how is it doing the drinks dispensing?
So I'll walk through the basic process. So an LLM is effectively taking this persona of a bartender. It's figuring out your mood. It's coming up with a all-new drink that fits basically what you're looking for at that moment. It then uses a tool where the tool has basically been defined saying that you have 8 different options to mix, and you can mix in any quantities you'd like for the LLM. And it's using the tool then, which turns on 8 different peristaltic pumps, or up to 8 different peristaltic pumps, and it doses the amount of liquid exactly to the specification the LLM comes up with in the cocktail.
Some of my fondest memories are by tiki bars, so well played.
All right. Thank you again, Team Hackababies.
And one last shout out, if you would like to be the proud owner of this one-of-a-kind AI bartender, it is literally one of a kind. We are auctioning it off today, so come find us.
Well played.
I love it. Coming up next for our second presentation, we have Team Bongo Browser. And after them will be Claude Code Go. So Claude Code Go team, please line up over here. This is Yev and Pranav, another interactive demo.
Before we go into explaining what this is, if you saw me over in the kitchen earlier with the Diet Cokes, you can imagine how it felt to see the tiki bar roll in. But this is the inspiration for this project. You can see here, there's a little cat. There we go. And now I want to do that for my web browser. And how we're going to do it, Pranav is going to explain.
So, what is LSD? We started this company to build a language around the browser. So it has a bunch of language elements like click into, enter into, etc., 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 basically built around the browser. So we took this language and then decided, oh, bongoing would be interesting. Go ahead.
You can't see this well if you're there, but you saw it better if you came over. I'm pinching this little aluminum foil, and I'm going to tap one of the cans to click on something, and it should click on something in the page. Oh shit, it's already going to Wikipedia. Never mind.
So now what's happening is Yev is triggering the click, and it clicked on something random. What's happening here is our language took and sanitized HTML, sent it to Claude. Claude decided, okay, I'm going to give you something random to click on, and then the language executed that on the browser. It's buzzing randomly? Okay, cool.
Yes, I might have changed the soundboard.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It has different sounds, so it's like a soundboard for the web, like a beatbox.
Yeah, so we were going for the tactile interface for the internet. Maybe. Anyway, so this is just some of the things that it's doing. And yeah, that's...
And so, is mayonnaise an instrument? No, but Diet Coke is.
That's a... Did anyone get that reference? Yes. Oh my God, someone got it. Holy shit. Okay, cool.
Any questions from the judges for Team Bongo Browser?
Yeah, it's just now randomly doing shit. I have no idea.
Okay, well, let's give a round of applause for Team Bongo Browser.
As
A couple of these have difficult execution level in terms of the in-person demo element. So come check it out afterwards as well. Team Kanto, are you ready? All right, Team Kanto.
Hi, everyone. We're Team Kanto, and we built PokePlay.ai, which is an AI agent that can play the Pokemon trading card game. So my name is Michael, and I'm a two-time international Pokemon trading card game champion and former world #1 ranked player in the world.
My name is Harry. I'm Michael's friend.
So I've been playing Pokemon for over a decade now, and it's completely changed my life. I've gotten to travel the world through competitions, it's fully paid for my college, and I've made lifelong friendships. And in fact, Pokemon is actually the most valuable IP in the entire world. And millions of kids around the world own these cards, but few know how to actually play the game.
Right, and like I can definitely attest to that because like over the past few years, I've amassed a collection of almost like 5,000 different cards, but I've never really got into the game because the game has some pretty complex mechanics, and for young children, it's a bit hard to understand how exactly to play about it without another player or just a teacher itself. So our overall motivation was to create an AI agent that could just play the game. So over here, we have a really simple like depiction of what's going on. Our orchestration is done through LangGraph, but the individual agents are made through LangChain. The idea here is that we have our player agent, and it's just tasked with making a current move on the game state. The game state is represented through a JSON object, which is what both the front end and the back end will actually view, and we'll get into that in a second. But after the player agent takes the current game state, the mentor agent converses with the player agent, right? So it's a conversation happening on what to do, what's the next possible best decision to make, and then that action is referred to, or at least taken by the referee agent, vetted if it's legal, and then the actual effect is taken on the game state. So let's just jump a little into the demo, and I want to wait for all the animations to show up because this was kind of annoying to make. All right? Yes. All right. Okay, awesome, we got the game going. All right, so let's just start here. So this is our UI right here. Clearly there's an initial game state, and we have Ash over here about to make a turn.
In my hand, I have Battle VIP Pass, 2 basic Psychic Energy, Gardevoir X, 2 Ralts, and Cresselia. What's the best first turn play considering my Zacian Vive is active?
Use Battle VIP
So
Pass
this is the
to
mentor.
get 2 basic Pokemon onto your bench. Then attach a Psychic Energy to your active Zacian V to enable its Roar of the Sword ability if needed in future turns.
So now the
Final
player
decision,
takes
I'll play
feedback.
Battle VIP Pass to get Ralts and Mew onto my bench, then attach a Psychic Energy to my active Zacian Vi.
The action is legal. Battle VIP Pass can be played on the first turn to search for 2 basic Pokemon and put them on the bench. And attaching a basic energy is a valid once per turn action. State.
Awesome. So right there was just like one rendition of like a turn being made, and these agents are making some decision on the current state. And we can go on to the next team, which is in this case Team Rocket. It's the same idea, it's the same system in play, except now it's just different cards. So there's different decisions to be made.
Active Pikachu EX on the cards in my hand. I recommend attaching a basic lightning energy to your active Pikachu EX and
So
then
once
playing
again, just to
Battle
move on
VIP
here,
Pass to
we
search for-
simulated this game for like about 20 different turns. And you can see here that over time, the game state gets more and more complex with more decisions being made.
Yeah, so yeah, as you can see, it's going through, running through the entire game, making actions, knocking out Pokemon, changing the HP in play. And this is all done through the LLM. And Pokemon is more than just a game. Pokemon for us, it's been an experience that's changed our lives, helped us build lifelong friendships, build real world skills, and allow us to travel the world. And we're hoping through PokePlay, we can enable that for millions of other children around the world too. Thank you.
Questions from the judges?
So, okay. So you're Gary Kasparov of Pokemon. And this is Deep Blue. I don't know, how good is it? Can it beat you?
It actually probably cannot be me, but we're really impressed that it understands the rules of the game and is able to understand like different, I guess like game states. So it has an idea of like the beginning of a game, the middle of a game, and the end of a game, and it knows what cards can be legally played during those different states. So I think it's been very impressive that it's able to follow all the rules of the game legally, just like how I mentioned through the use of the different agents, having a referee agent dedicated to understanding the rules. We didn't have to program any of the logic for how the game of Pokemon actually works. We give it some context and it just knows what actions can legally be played.
But do you think it could crack the top 10 in the world, top 100, top 1,000?
Yeah, so one thing I will say is that the interaction between the player and the mentor was limited to only like a few because of the demo. What we found is that when we didn't really like stop the interactions, the number of times they could like consult each other, it was really able to like find a good strategy behind the deck, find the best decision, except that conversation really took like all of the 11 lab credits. And so for the sake of the hackathon, we just made sure to limit the conversation between the two to make a good decision, but can easily be extended to making a really good decision.
Does it do any look ahead or understanding? Like, can you verify that it'll never play an illegal move, or sometimes does it, go haywire?
Yeah, so right now, we have verified that it does not play an illegal move. But one thing we did notice is that when the game state gets really complex, because of how much limited interactions there are, it doesn't make the best decision at a certain point. And so within the first few turns, it's making pretty good decisions. But as the game state gets more complex, also the conversation flow is stored. And with a lot of AI agents, when you have the context size being so large, it doesn't do the best action for a specific task. So one of the ways we can improve this is to not just have 3 agents, have much smaller agents, really honed in on a specific strategy behind the entire game.
Super, super cool.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Pretty sure this is where all our GPU compute in the future is gonna go. This is why we need, well done guys. Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you, Team Kanto. Before we get started with the next round, I forgot to mention what the prizes are here tonight, or the prize categories. So we have a couple of prize categories. The first obvious one is the best overall prize. But then we'll also have 3 sub-prizes. One for the most interesting interface. We wanted people to build wacky, weird, fun stuff this weekend, and so there will be a prize for the most interesting interface. The other side, so one of the other sub-prizes will be the 10x engineering prize. There are a lot of people building with Claude Code or building things that were serving developers. So this will be a prize for the best tool that is leveraging up developers and helping them build software faster and better. And then the final prize, make sure you stick around. We will do an audience choice award. So there will be a QR code that we pop up on the screen, and then you will be able to vote for one of the prizes yourself. Without further ado, let's bring up the next team. This is Team Claude Code Go. Team Paid, you're on deck.
So while Chris gets set up, and speaking of 10x engineering, we built Claude Code on the go. So we're gonna pull up the demo.
Yeah, thank you, and some great demos so far as well. So just to get started, I think a lot of people agree that 95% of code or more is going to be written by AI by the end of the year. At the same time, I can order a hamburger from my phone, or I can file an expense report, but I can't code from my phone until now. And we think that with the advent of agentic coding, it's really time for this to change. So we've built a mobile app, which I'll show you here, that connects to your desktop. This is actually a live Git repository running on my laptop. Now say I need to go work out or go to lunch, meet up with some friends, but I have a couple of last changes I want to make. Well, now I can do them from my phone. So here we'll just ask, just give that for a second. Let's make the dragon size oscillate, and also add some fire emojis coming from where the dragon is.
So just for context, by the way, this could be any site. It's just gotten pretty crazy as we've been demoing and had a lot of audience contributions. So this could be your startup. This could be a fun side project.
Yeah, exactly. Just to clarify, if anyone's confused, this is not what we built. What we actually built was this really cool mobile app. actually, I can show you a little bit on the simulator here. So you can chat with Claude there. Once it's done, it'll show you all the tool calls. You can preview in the web browser on the phone as well. So if you're at Whole Foods and you want to see what Claude did, that's there for you as well. It does connect with Git as well, so you can see your diff, you can push and create PRs, pretty much everything you want to do on the go. And like I said, this is actually connected to my laptop. So this isn't a sandbox, it's not like Replit or anything like that. This is my actual hard drive, which is a little dangerous. But you can literally edit any project here and have Claude Code go and edit things for you. Yeah, so that actually did finish there. You can see the dragon is oscillating, and I don't see any fire. Oh, there's some fire there as well on the top left corner. So that's worked. If anybody else, oh, it is actually still going, so expect it to get a little bit better. But yeah, if anybody else wants to come and see us and add to our masterpiece here, please feel free to come and say hi, and we'll keep building together and keep shipping. Thank you.
Any questions from the judges?
You know how when you run Claude Code on your computer, it says, please accept, or are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Do you have that?
Yeah, there's like a live dangerously flag.
Okay.
So as long as you accept the terms and conditions, totally fine. I will say when I was demoing before, I went to a different folder on my hard drive, and of course it updates. So I was adding it to asking it to add emojis and things like this, and it was just adding it to random projects in my projects directory. So it's very powerful, a little bit dangerous, but. Oh yeah, you can totally work on the app using the app as well. So we did some of that, yeah. Any other questions?
Well done.
Thank you.
Pretty cool.
Thanks.
Thank you, Team Claude Code Go. While Team Paid gets set up here, I want to remind everyone, we also have a fun fireside chat coming up on Tuesday. It'll be in the late afternoon. We're going to host Mike Krieger, who's the Chief Product Officer at Anthropic. He's going to come give a fireside chat, answer a bunch of questions that folks had throughout the hackathon. So if you're interested in joining that, hit up our Luma and you can request an invite. Without further ado, here we have Team Paid.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to see all of our demos. I will say I have had at least more than one tiki drink, which is the right amount to start vibe coding. But I'm not entirely sure what I want to build yet. I could just jump in and start building something and prototyping and seeing where it goes. Or I could spend a few moments with design thinking principles to figure out who I'm building for, why I'm building it, who my user persona is, what the value proposition is, etc. But the traditional methods of doing that today would be to either have a long conversation with a product manager or end up writing a PRD or taking days before you're finally hitting the keyboard and coding. With vibe coding tools, we're coding so much faster and the ability to build stuff is instant. So we decided to bring that same level of efficiency to the design thinking process because we believe that making sure you've thought through your product before you start vibe coding is the best use of your time. So Eli is going to demo Paid, we've called it Paid Product AI Design Agent, because everyone wants to get paid. And you can talk to Paid, who's a conversational agent, just like you would while you're vibe coding. So you could go out for a stroll, rock climbing, kayaking, surfing, wherever you can take a microphone and have a conversation with Paid. And Paid is specifically trained on IDEO and Stanford Design School design thinking principles to only ask you questions rather than give you the answers. Our philosophy is that it's not supposed to tell you what to build, but help you guide you to what to build. So yeah, let's get started.
Hey, what do you want to build today? I am happy to guide you.
Yeah, I would like to build a surf app.
Sounds interesting. What problem are you trying to solve with your surf app?
Well, every time I'm surfing, it's always really crowded, and I'm kind of wishing that people would just go away.
I understand that frustration with crowded surf spots. What specific pain points do you experience when surfing in these crowded conditions?
Well, I got this idea, so let's call it Surf in Solitude. And I want to have like a sharp, thin gizmo that's kind of like floating under the water, and I could just like tap a button on my smartwatch, and then that thing just kind of pops out of the water, and then everyone just kind of skedaddles.
That's certainly a creative approach to clearing out crowded surf spots. Would this underwater shark fin device be connected to your app somehow? Tell me more about how you envision this working.
Yeah. Can you say that again? I didn't hear that.
I'm curious about how your shark fin device would connect with the app. How do you envision the technical details of this working?
Just like an app that's just sitting on my watch, and it connects to this shark fin gizmo, and I can just kind of walk up to the beach and put it in the water, and it doesn't come up immediately. But then when I'm out there and it starts to get crowded, I just tap the button, and then before you know it, I have all the waves to myself.
I see how you've envisioned the experience. How do you imagine your typical user? Who would be most interested in using this product?
Really grumpy locals.
That's an interesting target audience. Can you tell me more about what would be your one-line value proposition for these grumpy locals?
All right, so we're gonna stop it there. As you can imagine, the ideal time frame is about 5 to 10 minutes of continued conversation for it to get all the information that it needs. Because outside of just a conversational agent that helps you drive and guide your thinking, it also helps build out kind of this Notion document you can come back to in the future, comment on, and trigger further conversations with paid in the future. Notion has some rate limiting, so we're still populating as we go, but it's gonna try to extract all the pieces from that conversation that Eli had, and also try to build out a mermaid script to kind of visualize the user flow. And this is all Claude building off of just that conversation that you heard right now. And as it builds out this user flow, it also uses that user flow that it generated as reference point to start creating escalator wireframes. And so, as you can see, there's a little shark fin in the middle that's deployed, and that's you, Eli, swimming and surfing away. And so all of these artifacts are generated just based off of the conversation transcript as well as a JSON that we maintain with sort of an understanding of the design thinking process. And yeah, you can keep coming back to it. And in the future, we'd love to extend it to be able to work with iterations of a product as well, and not just a 0 to 1. But yeah, that's paid. If you want to get paid, try out paid.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Totally useful.
I'll take the green one. Yeah. We don't need one.
All right, I'm going surfing with Eli. All right, that's right.
All right. Up next, we have Team Nardwuar. Steele, Robert, Hugo, and Jacob. Why don't you come up? I love your hats. And following them, we have Team Yellow Pages. Yellow Pages, you are on deck.
We're Team Nardwuar. So how many of you know about Nardwuar and who he is? Like, did the hat's outfit make sense a little bit? Okay, we got some. It's not just San Francisco style. It's geared for Nardwuar. So Hugo, Jacob, Robert, and I kind of met recently, and we're coming up with ideas for what we want to work on the hackathon. And we like Nardwuar. I don't know if you've seen his interviews. He asks he does tons of research before he meets with people. And he finds all sorts of interesting facts and asks totally mind-blowing questions. So he goes super viral for that. So this is a really viral one with Pharrell. He found his first albums. So we're getting to know each other, and then we're also thinking hey, what if we could have a Nardwuar AI agent and see what it can find out about us? And it was kind of a passion project to start with. And then we were hey, there's maybe some business applications for it. So we decided to end up spending way more time on it than we wanted to. So didn't get to sleep too much. So let's get into kind of how it works. The reality is people's calendars are super busy. I didn't use the best image generation, so if anyone has a different suggestion, if you notice the times on the left don't quite line up. But you're busy, you don't have the time to do homework. So, how does Nardwuar work? Let's take an example. So we basically used Claude to build a researcher to mimic exactly what Nardwuar would do. So let's get into an actual use case. So this is a hypothetical example. In this case, Hugo and I are founders, and Robert is a founding engineer we're interviewing. So we don't have time to like do tons of research on Robert and who he is. So all we had to do was add Nardwuar to the calendar invite. And Nardwuar goes and researches everything he can find about Robert. And this was actually fun to do because there's a ton of things we didn't even know about each other. So Robert is 27th in North America in League of Legends. That was cool. Wrote a research paper that calculated the evacuation times at the Louvre in case of a bomb scare. Won an award for that, and he won a ICM math contest. So all sorts of interesting things that we would have never got if we just read his resume and LinkedIn before an interview. Another example, this one's a little bit more real. We took place in a hackathon this weekend. And we're like, you know what? We didn't sleep too much. Do we have time to like learn about the judges ahead of time? That might be smart if we're like trying to win. We can tailor it to them. So when you announced the finalist, we took your guys' emails and we sent you a calendar invite. And Nardwuar went in and researched in-depth profiles about all of you. And you can see he like makes meeting prep questions that we can ask and all sorts of findings. So you guys can view that.
Yeah, can we get one of the judges to verify?
Yeah, so if one of the judges wants to volunteer to display their Nardwuar profile. Okay, Diddy's taking it. Cool. So you can give it a scan and give us some feedback.
Are we trying to go for like, 3 truths and 1 lie or something?
Well, if we did our job right, it should be 5 truths and no lies, but.
This is great. I mean, this is all accurate. Yeah.
Great.
Great. I mean, I think if someone were interviewing me, these would be good questions.
Yeah, awesome. So I would attempt to explain how we built this, but I can only program in Lovable. So I'm gonna have Jacob explain how this works.
Thanks, Jill. Yeah, so you can see on this diagram, this is the architecture that we threw up this weekend. It's all live on nardwuar.ai. There's a waitlist up there if you want to check it out. The way Nardwuar works is we have our 2 interfaces, the website where you can see reports, and then if you add it to a calendar event, it'll receive the event invite, parse the event's details, and read your email to try to gather context about the purpose of the meeting. And then we have a multi-agent architecture where each agent is running Anthropic 3.7 Sonnet, using tool calling in a loop, doing deep research with web APIs, and we even hooked up some LinkedIn and X scraping. And then at the end, it puts the report right back on the calendar invite. And so, yeah, if you're interested in getting Nardwuar level research without having to spend Nardwuar level time, we're gonna put up a QR code and you can sign up. Thank you guys.
You guys can also see the actual report on nardwuar.ai/report/Anthropic. So you can see all the judges' profiles if you guys want to use the same questions.
Thank you, Team Nardwuar. Any questions from the judges? Mr. Tana.
You added a Nardwuar to your Cal invite to pull in the context of who to research. How does it disambiguate who you're actually researching, or does it research everybody?
It researches everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you could also just have an interface where you add the person. Okay.
Yeah. And the reason for the calendar invite is we get the business context, then it can do a better job of like coming up with questions and things. That's why we chose calendar.
Do you do anything special for really common names?
Actually, this is funny. Jacob has a good example here.
Yeah, so I'm Jacob Petticord. It's a pretty unique name, but it's not globally unique. There's another Jacob Petticord who also has a background in software engineering, except he lives in Seattle. So, I mean, to answer your question, honestly, no, we weren't really able to fix it. It's like constantly blending me and his backgrounds. But the idea is that with more deep research into your emails, you could kind of find some ways to disambiguate who is what. But yeah, it's a tough problem.
I mean, I was impressed. Agarwal is a pretty common name. There's a world-class poker player named Aditya Agarwal, who kind of has a bunch of WSOP bracelets. So I didn't see anything about that. So that was good.
Yeah.
I'll also give you guys a compliment. This basically probably around 15% of my meetings at SPC are for like interviews or meeting people, just getting to know about them. And then my first reaction is I go through the LinkedIn and I'm just like, what are the 1 or 2 most interesting things to ask somebody about? Not the most obvious thing. So I would totally use this. So well done. Yeah, this is awesome.
Two more quick comments. When you have an email, we have their business, right? So now that's how we can match to you. That's how we didn't get the poker player, unless You know, it's like a total pseudonym.
Look into the emails as well. And,
Yeah. And then with finding people with the same name, we have a different thing we're working on where you're actually using image recognition to match people's pictures.
Oh, cool.
So image is another way we can do that.
Awesome. Well done, guys. This is sweet.
Thank you, Team Nardwuar. Up next, we have Team Yellow Pages. Zachary, our solo hacker. And then following them, we have Team A0. So Team A0, get ready.
Hey, so the problem that I was hacking is a problem that happens with a lot of nonprofits nowadays. Imagine your parent moved to a new city and they really needed help by going to, say, an aging and disability resource center. The way it would work is you'd call up one of these nonprofits and they would send a referral over to that aging and resource center. And the problem that happens is they don't have the email for this resource center. From your POV, you don't know this. So you send this out and 3 weeks later, nothing happens. And your dad, still nothing's happening with them. Even worse, a lot of these nonprofits have emails, but there's typos. So they'd send an email out, 3 weeks later, someone says, I don't know who this is. This is a problem that I found out 2 months ago. I hosted one of the world's first agents for nonprofits hackathons. Every single nonprofit that I spoke with has this problem. Right now, what they do is they have nonprofit volunteers, which are likely high schoolers, who just go in and maybe for $10 an hour, will go and spend around 10 minutes per row validating this. It'll take forever and they'll still make mistakes. So what I did is I built an agent to automate this. Hey, Claude, can you validate the Aging and Disability Resource Center together? Just gonna pull up some jazz. And so essentially what it's looking for is trying to find an email.
Let's hop into it. First, I'll be getting the contact elements on the page.
For add a num.
Next, I'll scroll to an element to render anything below.
And it's going to explain what it's doing. It essentially has pulled up
Now I'll be getting the clickable elements on the page.
a computer use agent, which can autonomously
I'll take a quick screenshot, one moment.
Take your time. Now for humans, they actually wouldn't be able to do this because you can see we're looking for add a num, but on the page, add a num doesn't exist. And so Claude is smart enough to know the closest one is actually upper Yakima.
Okay, so I just scrolled because the most relevant email for Autonom, which is in Yakima County, is adrcyakima@dshs.wa.gov. This email has the highest likelihood, 90%, among the contact elements and is specifically for the Aging and Disability Resource Center in Yakima. It's currently not visible in the screenshot, so we need to scroll to it. This email address directly matches our service name and is the most appropriate for the referral city of Autonom. While we've already scrolled to some phone numbers, we haven't yet located this crucial email address, which is our primary goal based on the referral method, get email. Success! I found the email we were looking for.
Thank you. Now, one of the great things about this is it actually has a screenshot. So if you're familiar with deep research or even Operator, those are general purpose things which would tell you about 10 emails on the page, but from a nonprofit volunteer POV, you don't know what any of those mean and which one is the right one to go to. But now you have an actual screenshot which can validate that. So from the volunteer POV, all you need to do is just go, merge it back, now that you validated it, and suddenly you have all the information that you need, which is really nice. So I spoke with these nonprofits, and they're actually really interested in using this next week. The intro, as I said, overall, a lot of these nonprofits which refer people have a lot of the information, and computer use agents generally are unreliable, but in this case, it's a very scoped problem, and it's just a matter of putting the tech towards them. And I actually didn't want this just to be another kind of feel-goody computer use idea. I actually made an eval set of 8 different websites, and over the weekend, I'm from Seattle, so I flew out here and sat down with a ton of people over matcha lattes. I just said I'd buy them, and asked them, hey, how long would it take you as a human to actually go on this website and find this information? And for a lot of them, they failed, but for the majority of them, it was about 2 times faster to do this. And one of the advantages is we can actually batch around 5,000 websites all at the same time, really cheaply, to get all this information at once for a nonprofit. I stayed away from people talking about distribution strategies and CTOs, because I felt like they wouldn't be representative. So went to the college students. Yeah, so this is what I built, and we have some nonprofits interested, and thanks for letting me share it with you.
From the judges.
None from me. That was awesome. Yeah, well done.
Let's give another round of applause to Zachary for Yellow Pages.
Good jazz.
Yeah, the jazz was a lovely touch. Up next, we have Team A0, and following them, Team Pitchcraft. Let's give a round of applause for Team A0.
All right, how many of you have used MCPs? Can you raise your hand? That's okay, adoption. So on my end, I used to be technical. I coded in 2019, but personally haven't touched my Node or Homebrew in like basically 6 years. So when I was trying to set up Claude desktop with MCPs, I basically took 8 hours to get it fixed. And so we realized a lot of users, especially non-technical business users, they prefer to access a lot of apps over the web. And so we built a web client that essentially, one, makes it easier to use MCPs through templates. And so we've templatized a ton of use cases, starting with e-commerce and operations. And then two, we've actually created a way to represent a lot of these use cases with visual diagrams. So especially when you're asking for more complex tasks that involve logic or for loops, we're able to represent that in sort of a workflow canvas. So Henry will demonstrate.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, so the use case we're going to demonstrate is, let's say you own a Shopify store and you want to look through your product list, figure out, do some calculations based on this list, and send some reports to Slack. So this is a simple workflow that we would want to do. So in our design, we want to have kind of users gradually onboard to this by hand-holding the agent first, and then later creating a template based on the conversation trace that they have created. So let's start with swap out this mic for you. Okay. List all my products on Shopify. Oh, okay. It's slightly wrong what I typed, but so what it's doing here is actually looking through Smithery registry for the server, which is a startup I'm building. And it finds finds a couple of servers. It adds the server in and registers it, and it's able to first pull up the Shopify product list. So now we're gonna go and send this as like a summary to Slack, or maybe we can do a little bit more complicated action, like for example, find me the most expensive item and send that on Slack. Okay, so in this demo, I've already pre-authenticated Slack and also Shopify, which is why it's a little bit smoother. But if you actually want to use a service on Smithery that is not pre-authenticated, there will be a callback link that you can log in. Okay, so it's doing a bunch of different actions. It can automatically discover the correct service to connect to. And it will post the Slack message. So I've successfully posted the message. If we go into here, we see the most expensive product in Shopify store. So it found this item, and yeah, it made the post. So now that we have this sort of two-step process that the user has guided the agent to do, what the user really wants to do is to make repeatable workflows. So we can click Create Template. And what happens right now is that our system has another LLM, which is acting like a compiler. It's looking at this entire trace. It's analyzing a conversation, and it's actually generating a program that represents what the user has done on a more abstract level. So this takes probably 20 seconds, and after that you will see a flowchart that should come out. Okay, here we go. So we have a flowchart that's generated based on this trace. It kind of outlines what happened. We connected to Shopify, we got all the products, we connected to Slack using this MCP here. We got all the Slack channels, and then we formatted and sent a message to Slack. So now what we can do is we can click Use Template to create sort of a new conversation based on this template. And this is a hack we did at the very end, which is really quick. Behind the scenes, this is actually a JavaScript program. So there's this entire script here that's generated by the LLM, basically the compiled source code. If you run this, you're basically pasting in the JavaScript, and it will sort of emulate the code by stepping through it. And you can see how this can combine the two steps that we've kind of hand-holded the agent to do, and perhaps even course-corrected if needed to, into a single-shot workflow that executes end-to-end. So that's our demo. We can take questions.
Sarah, I'm curious, what do you think, I mean, given your background on the e-commerce side, I'm curious, like, what do you think are the most common recurring workflows that somebody might want to set up on top of Shopify?
Yeah, so at the kind of base level, the motivation for this is even doing something as simple as getting my top spending new customers from last week and the most popular products from that set requires like 20 clicks in Shopify. And so with that said, like there's a lot of operations within just a single app that are very useful. But actually a lot of the workflows that are interesting are across email, WhatsApp, communications with suppliers, and Shopify and some other support apps. And so with email, it's really interesting too, because before with tools like Zapier and non-LLM based applications, you couldn't just read from email and get the context on, say, all the shipments last week that were delayed, and then being able to take the right actions in other applications. So this is sort of a way to do these like fuzzy workflows. And right here, we don't have it demonstrated, but these templates really make it easy to then set up cron jobs or triggered workflows from MCP.
Both of your example prompts specified the actual application you wanted to use. Did you experiment at all with like a more ambiguous prompt where it was trying to figure out the tool?
You want to give an example?
Maybe to figure out how to create a ad image based on the 3 products you gave it.
Wait, what was it?
Create ad image.
Create
advertisement.
Oh. Based on
the top 3 products from Shopify.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would expect the image part not to work, but we'll see. Because we probably need to connect to a different API. So it searches on Shopify. Okay, then let me search for tools to create advertisement images, image generation services, found 12. This is out of distribution. Okay, so I added the Shopify tool. It found Jigsaw's image generation tool. Okay, so it turns out Jigsaw requires authentication, so we'll have to provide an API key. But I like that you did it live though. Yep.
Well done. Up next, we are down to our last 2 demos here, folks. So put your thinking caps on. Which team do you want to vote for the audience choice? We only have 2 left, so we will give a quick reminder of all the teams at the end, but think through which team you want to crown the audience choice champion. Up next, we have Team Pitchcraft.
I'm Renuka, this is Anirudh, and we've built Pitchcraft. So a bunch of us here are technical founders, and the idea with Pitchcraft is we want to help technical founders get good at founder-led sales. Because one of the dream would be you build this beautiful product and then sales just takes care of itself, right? But obviously to find product market fit, you have to be out there talking to your customers and actually getting that feedback. So how do you do that well? So you start by uploading your company blurb and sales deck. You do this as you onboard. Out here, I have Zuora's sales deck, which is, the best in class. And then Pitchcraft generates a bunch of feedback based on it. So it critiques your blurb, it critiques the sales deck, even Zuora has things it can improve. It generates questions that customers might ask based on what they see in the deck. And then it also generates a sales outreach email for you. This is based on best practices out there, like leading with the pain point, keeping it short, and a lot more that I have learned the hard way. The next thing you can do is you can practice your pitch. So I am, for fun, going to have a pitch of Don Draper pitching a life serial drunk. This is going to take a second, but basically what Pitchcraft is going to do is look at the content And I see some laughs. Thank God somebody has seen. I'm not aging myself here, hopefully. But it generates feedback based on the pitch. So hilariously, even when he was drunk, he was actually doing some things right? Like there was emotional appeal in the pitch, great imagery, memorable tagline, and then of course there were things to improve, like organize your thoughts better. Again, it was meant to be a drunk, funny pitch. Now, if AI doesn't get you, you also can request feedback from actual humans, which are experienced sales coaches. So we have a platform where, a marketplace for meeting your sales coach. It can be really daunting for a first-time founder or any kind of founder, really, to invest time and money in a sales coach. They are expensive, and that can be hard. So we have a feed where you can see people giving you great advice.
To your pitch. Add humor to your pitch. Add humor to your...
Okay, that was weirdly fitting. This was actually generated by people who, came by and looked at our demo. One thing is getting this kind of content is really hard. So we want to sort of create this content quickly. And so we created a way to do this really quick. So let's say, one of our famous people here maybe wants to give us some sales advice. Keep it short.
Focus on the biggest spike. It's like, don't waste time on kind of like, all of the useless nonsense.
Spike is the word you said?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to keep it short just because this takes a little bit of time, and hopefully I can not waste your time here, but or run out of credits. Oh, there we go.
Focus on the biggest spike. Focus on the biggest spike.
But this is a great way for you to actually see, so that human feedback that you would have gotten and your feed would be a good way for you to figure out which sales coach might work for you. And then ultimately, as Pitchcraft collects all of this information, based on your practice pitches, your iteration, all the customer questions you've answered, and your one-on-one coaching lessons, it creates an AI sales rep for you. So hopefully this is at a time when you are actually looking to scale out your sales. And we have...
Welcome to the subscription economy revolution. Zuora empowers businesses to thrive in this new era of ongoing customer relationships.
I'm gonna not, we hired a really expensive salesperson here, I think. But yeah, the idea is over time, this can actually start taking your Zoom calls for you and answering questions and be that first salesperson for your company.
Well done. No questions?
I have a quick question. On the practice pitch, is that just taking the transcript or is there doing something else there?
Right now, it's just taking the transcript.
Very cool. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Team Pitchcraft. A little bit uncanny. Add humor to your pitch. Add humor to your pitch. Okay. Final demo of the evening here. We've got a fun one. Want to welcome up Team New Generation, Adam, Evan, and Nara.
Woo! Hey, guys. We're Team New Gen. We're a startup. We mostly work with large consumer brands to help build AI storefronts for them. And we've aggregated product data across those brands. And we really wanted to use the hackathon as an opportunity to build an MCP server of that product data. We thought that wouldn't be too fun since we already did all that work working with brands, getting all that product data, and exposing it to MCP, just so you could ask questions of it. And so we thought, hey, could we just start our own store this weekend? Could we build an agent that took all the information from the judges, ran that through LLMs, and then generated commemorative trading cards of each of the people? And so we used an agent to do that and set up a Shopify store. And then we'll demo here what that looks like. The other constraint that we really wanted to force ourselves with is the constraint of the chat client of Claude or something like OpenAI. And so we wanted to meet customers where they are. So customers are in chat products today. They should just be able to use chat like they normally do. And so you might have walked around and seen that we have playing cards. So if you use our MCP server, you can just ask your Claude chat, hey, I saw these cards at a hackathon. Is there a way for me to buy them? This will connect to our MCP server. It'll search our entire product catalog, and it'll return the information that's relevant for that particular query. We don't control the client experience. And so we should get back the products that we've created with our Shopify store. And then one of the questions that we got while people were walking around was like, hey, I really want one made of myself. And so what if I want to ask like, hey, I want one made of myself, could you tell the merchant that I'm interested in that? And so our MCP server allows a two-way conversation to open up between consumers and merchants that want to meet in this surface of chat. And so what this does under the hood is it'll hit our MCP server. We'll store it in our user interest database, and then actually notify the merchant that, hey, there's a consumer that wants to do this. And so then let's say, hey, we saw enough interest and we want to make a new option available to sell. So we can go into our Shopify store and we can go to our founder rookie card. And we can just take that link and paste it into chat and just inline in chat, add it to our store and make it available for anybody to purchase. So we'll make a product available in our store using that link. We use LLMs to scrape all that data, and then we add it into our product catalog. And then now, any consumer that uses the MCP server can directly ask in Claude, hey, I want to make a founder trading card of myself.
We have no jazz, sorry.
Yeah, we didn't do the jazz music. All right, cool. And then we won't demo it, but if you, the user, then ask like, hey, is there anything available? Or hey, has the merchant gotten back? You'd get the answer that, yep, there's this new product available. And you could click to buy it. Thanks. Questions?
What's the trickiest part of that cell?
Oh boy, what was the trickiest part?
Vector embeddings and getting vector search.
Basically, like with any agentic system, there's essentially like 3 compounding steps, and so failure modes at like one step that cascade through. It becomes really difficult to build a like compelling, cohesive user experience. And then we really did try to force ourselves with the constraint of not using our own client. And so a lot of the issues that we ran into, we could have sort of like worked around if we had sort of that full stack control.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Team NewGen. So we've come to the end of our finalist demos. And judges, I will say, let's go backstage and start deliberating. And while the judges deliberate, we're going to put a QR code up on the screen, and that will contain a link to vote on your favorite finalist presentation for the Audience Choice Awards. We will reconvene here in about 5 minutes to announce who's going to go home with the best overall, most interesting interface, and 10x engineering prizes, as well as reveal the audience choice. Well, thank you all again for taking the time to come to the demos tonight, and to everyone that competed this weekend. Had a lot of fun. It was a great turnout, and appreciate you all building some really amazing stuff. One more thank you to Lydia for organizing this entire thing. It really couldn't have happened without her, so thank you. And then final reminder, if you are around on Tuesday, 3:30, we'll be having Mike Krieger from Anthropic, Chief Product Officer, to come and talk about a lot of their new products, answer some of the questions that you submitted as well. Without further ado, I will bring up Aditya to announce the 10X Engineering Prize. Aditya.
All right. So this goes to Claude Code Go. So come on up, the folks who worked on it, congratulations. And the reason for this is, these guys had a bunch of unicorns and rainbows, both things that my daughter loves, she's 4. But the reason why I thought it was super impressive was because you've actually kind of recreated Replit on mobile, but on top of Claude, kind of like Claude Code on the mobile app, which was not the main show, but I think is actually the main show. So that was really impressive. The file system integration was impressive. And I think that the level of polish also seemed pretty cool. So congratulations. That's not easy to build in 48 hours. So stoked for you guys, and thank you for coming and hacking. Awesome. Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations, team Claude Code Go. All of the prize winners, please stick around afterwards. We'll talk about logistics for prizes, and it would also be great to take a photo with all of you all. Up next, we have Didi. Didi is going to announce the prize for the most interesting interface.
All right, guys. Well, the thing about the most interesting interface one was interesting because half of these are just chat interfaces, which is not that exciting. And there was a couple of contentious ones, but they got other prizes. So we were like, you know what? This is a really, really nicely done interface for a hackathon, and I would personally play it. So it's Team Kanto for most interesting interface. Why don't you come up? I think not only do we have a real-life Pokemon master, but the Brock and the Ash animations, the Professor Oak, fantastic. I thought for a hackathon, just flawlessly built. Congratulations, guys.
Interface yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing. Congratulations, Michael and Harry. Up next, we have the one that you all picked. We have Evan, who's going to announce the Audience Choice Award.
Didi also just wanted to be on stage with the former world #1. So, so the audience choice, drum roll, goes to Hackababies with the Tiki Bar. So there are a lot of moving parts here. It's pretty ambitious. Not only they build the cool interface bartender to take your drink and personalize it, and also make a drink. They had the Arduino integration to mix the drink. But then you also built a bar, which just seems fucking nuts. Why would you do that? But it was awesome, and you won. So there you go. Congratulations.
You can hear the bar talking backstage. Congratulations, Emily, Kai, Zach, and Crystal. You kind of bribed everyone by getting them drunk, but it was a lot of fun, and I guess they're auctioning off the Tiki Bar, so if anyone wants one of those, please hit them up. Last but not least, we have Alex here from Anthropic, who is going to announce the grand prize, the best overall team.
All right. For all the marbles here, let's get a drum roll going. The best overall prize winner is also probably the winner of the best hats category, Team Nardwuar. This was just great. I'm a huge Nardwuar fan myself. I don't think it showed up in my report, but we were all very impressed by the reports. Congratulations, and congrats on the overall prize. Good job, guys.
All right. There you have it, folks. Thank you again for joining us this Saturday and Sunday. Let's give another round of applause to all of the prize winners here, and of course, Team Nardwuar for the grand prize.